Imagine trying to muscle, like a solid, rigid pane of glass the size of a garage door through a standard office hallway. You're scraping paint, dodging light fixtures, and probably considering...
Actually, a load-bearing wall, honestly.
Right, exactly. Welcome to your custom-tailored deep dive. Today, we're looking at the Draper 254209 Profile Plus fixed frame screen and how it completely bypasses that logistical nightmare. So, okay, let's unpack this. We aren't talking about a standard flat screen you just pick up at a big box store.
No, not at all.
This is a 113-inch diagonal, 16 by 10 widescreen behemoth.
Yeah, to visualize that, you're dealing with a viewing surface that is nearly 10 feet across. I mean, a single piece of hardware that massive instantly becomes a physics problem.
Which raises an immediate question for you, the listener, right? Like, how do you even get a nearly 10-foot display into a finished room without bringing in a demolition crew?
Well, it's kind of like trying to pivot a bulky couch up a narrow staircase, right? Usually a wall-scraping nightmare. But Draper circumvents the physics problem entirely.
Oh, really? How so?
By simply, not shipping a 10-foot rigid block. Instead of some massive crate, the screen ships completely unassembled.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you get this lightweight frame, and the viewing surface, in this case, their matte White XT1000V fabric, it actually arrives rolled up.
Wait, hang on. I've seen DIY projector screens sag or, like, ripple in the middle. If you're stretching a flexible fabric across a 10-foot span, how does it stay perfectly flat?
Yeah, that is where the engineering really shines. It utilizes a continuous sliding hook-and-loop tensioning system.
Hook and loop. So you just build the frame and stretch it over.
Exactly. You build the lightweight frame first, then stretch the fabric over it. The tension is distributed flawlessly across the entire perimeter.
Oh, wow.
And that XT1000V material is crucial here. I mean, it's engineered to pull taut without distorting its optical properties. That ensures light is distributed perfectly evenly. So no weird hot spots or darkened corners, even if you are sitting way off to the side in a massive auditorium.
All right, so you're literally building the display on site. And because you assemble it piece by piece in its final destination, you completely bypass the hallway geometry problem.
Precisely. But, the on-site assembly doesn't just solve a delivery issue. It unlocks entirely new aesthetic possibilities that a rigid, pre-built display simply cannot achieve. It changes the screen from a piece of tech into an architectural feature.
I'm looking at the specs here, and it mentions a zero-edge, borderless option supported by extruded aluminum baffles. So what does this all mean? Does it just look like a floating image?
What's fascinating here is how those extruded aluminum baffles function. They aren't just for show. They provide the immense structural rigidity needed to hold that 10-foot tension without the frame itself warping inward.
That makes total sense.
And because of that structural integrity, the entire assembly sits less than 2 inches deep.
Less than 2 inches. That's sleeker than most consumer flat panels.
It really is. And since the fabric stretches cleanly over those baffles to the absolute edge, it creates a true mullion-less display.
Meaning, if you're building a massive video wall, you can place multiple screens immediately adjacent to one another. There's like absolute zero separation between them.
Zero separation. It's just an uninterrupted visual plane. But, treating a screen as a permanent architectural feature completely changes the buying process.
Yeah, here's where it gets really interesting. Because this functions like a built-in part of the building, buying it requires the mindset of a general contractor.
Oh, definitely.
HDTVSupply lists the discounted price at $2,421. But this special order is strictly non-cancelable, non-returnable, and non-refundable.
Which is pretty intense.
Right. At first glance, that feels incredibly severe for a retail item.
It does, but if we connect this to the bigger picture, that rigid policy makes perfect sense. Think about the target environments. We're talking about massive church sanctuaries, corporate training rooms, or high-end dedicated home theaters.
Places where architectural precision is mandatory?
Exactly. You aren't just eyeball measuring the drywall and hoping for the best.
Right.
The technology is being integrated into the physical blueprint of the room. I mean, the ambient light routing, the acoustics, the seating, everything is calibrated around this specific 113-inch footprint. A non-returnable policy essentially enforces the professional foresight required to install it correctly.
Yes, you measure twice, you plan, and you commit. It forces absolute perfection in your pre-planning. So, to wrap up this deep dive for you, the Draper Profile Plus uses clever on-site assembly and advanced tensioning to solve the brutal physical logistics of massive displays.
And its borderless extruded aluminum frame creates that flawless floating illusion.
Exactly. And because of that, architectural permanence. Strict retail policies demand you know exactly what you are building before you buy.
It really pushes the boundaries of how we integrate tech into our spaces, which raises an important final question for you to ponder.
Oh, absolutely. If physical screens can now be assembled on-site and seamlessly merged side by side with absolute zero separation to cover a limitless space.
Right. At what point does the architectural concept of a solid wall disappear entirely, replaced by pure programmable canvas?